Usagisquared Draws, rather, everyone, and, oh boy. So, of course, I left a message right after, the stream ended for the next break, saying that that OBS was having a bit of a fit. Oh, it had quite a fit. It actually crashed the entire computer, and this is what is apparently recovered, which of course means... Oh boy. I'm gonna turn off the view for a moment while I open up the file that was saved as last, and we're about to get a nice look at why it's good to save constantly as you do your work. Because I'm pretty sure we just lost all of the inking progress. Like, all of it. Yep, we did. Oh boy. Yep, we're back to square one again. Oh. Now, that is not normal. I have never actually seen that kind of mess ever in terms of a recovery. Well, there's only one thing to do in a situation like that, and that is try again. That said, I do not want to go over the face and such again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try a different approach here. We're going to actually do the colors right now. And largely that's because we already did a bunch of filming of the inking. And that took quite a while, of course, because inking is what takes me the longest. But we have 45 minutes left. And honestly, I don't want to have this sit around for another month. It should not sit around for another month. So I'm going to be working on this after the stream is over, in other words. So for the sake of showing you guys something a little different, we're going to do some coloring here instead. Because it's just, I want to do something for the viewers as well, after all. So, on that note, as you can see from the chat there, I do intend to, at some point, bring in some music somehow. The main reason I haven't is because if it's copyrighted, you guys who are streaming might be able to hear it, but it might also be muted. And beyond that, it would automatically just not... It would get flagged on YouTube, most likely. Which are both very big issues that I do not want to put people through. It would not be very fun at all. Go away, updates. My god, though, that recovery error. Ooh. Anyways, since we only have 45 minutes left, this is also going to be shot straight through to the end rather than splitting it up. So we're just going to basically be coloring for the next 45 minutes. Fun stuff. And I, of course, colored in that with cream, whatever. We're going to color the entire body in chunks. And basically, I will ink over that. Now, is my eraser... Oh, yes, it is. Let's not do that. Let's not do that either. On that note, if anyone has questions or anything, I'd love to answer them. Part of the point of this is so that we can hold a sort of viewer and artist conversation, or or viewer and streamer conversation. Like that was largely the reason why I started streaming the way I do, leaving the chat in the open the way it is, that sort of thing. It's so that conversations can be had, and conversations where you don't lose half the context at that. Yeah, gosh, this must make things seem really disorganized, though, I have to say. I'll admit that. And I do apologize greatly for that, too. Because, yeah, that came out of nowhere. Honestly. And especially with the recovery. And how that went. So. Okay. We'll just do this. Now, if I do have all the colors done before time hits, and chances are I will, going in like this, we will, of course, go back to inking. But, yeah, gosh, that is, yikes. That is, I've had a few crashes on this system. I mean, it happens sometimes, it happens. Like I said, that's why it's good to, Control S every now and then. Just to be extremely careful. And of course, the first thing that comes to mind now is anyone who's been watching the game streams, of course, has also been seeing how many times I will immediately seek out the save point and save constantly. And I guess you could say that this is part of the reason why. It's like, I lost everything! No! I am a lot more crushed than I look, honestly, because that was a lot of work. That was a lot of work. But anyway. So that's the cream. Now get the pink in. It's a lot easier now that we've got a single block here. I don't care about you, Seat Cleaner. I don't care about all your startup things that come in ages late. Whoops. Let's get our background color there so that we can do this. Ta-da! Love doing that. Okay. But, happier things are on the horizon. Things like music. Things like, I might work on, probably not the buttons. I do want to get those done quickly so that people actually know that I have a Patreon. Because I do. I have for a while, in fact. And I forgot to erase this as well. That's no good. There. Whew. Lock, pink, go. I have a Patreon, and of course there's also the YouTube channel. So lots of things need buttons. Probably won't be actually be working on buttons though next time we do a stream like this, because it is a monthly thing, and I do want that sort of stuff out rather quick. Okay, let's erase where the eyes are now. Now I might go so far as to actually finish this eye if we have time, because this is, well, that eye is inked. And it'd be a nice thing to at least show you guys, I think, so. Just erase this. I will have to fill it in back again where there's hair, but... Whoops, too far. There we go. Man, I look like some kind of demon right now. Or she does. Mascot woes. Okay. There we go. Make a layer under there. Now, for things like eyes, things that are white, you never want to go solid white for those. Part of that is because of highlights and shadows. The same thing goes for darks for blacks. You never want to go entirely black or white with something, and that's actually why in a lot of animations, if someone has white hair, it'll be more of a gray or even a blue sort of color. Oh, I've seen many a person argue about whether or not someone's hair is green or blue, actually, because you'll have a slight color to the black or white, so that it doesn't blend with the lines or anything like that. Now, you want a solid red for these eyes, so. Up a little too far over there. Back on this layer, we'll just shrink the brush down a bit. Like this. I'm going to hide that sketch for now so that we can actually properly see what we're doing here. Alright. Now, I did say that I might finish that eye, but we're going to leave that for now. And, focus on the rest of what needs to be colored. So the glasses are also a shade of red. So we're going to go back over here and make a new layer, just to keep these separate. Now, those who saw the inking part of the stream can already tell where I'm going to have to erase these colors. But, as I did say, it does make it a bit easier just to ignore that for now. Makes things feel a lot less like all was lost as well, honestly. Because at least now when I go back to inking again, it'll be more like, oh, okay, well, once it's inked, I just have to tweak a few things, make sure that none of the colors are going weird, and then add some values. The goal really wasn't to finish the mascots so much as to get the colors in as well, because I can add the values in on my own time. It doesn't take that long. The biggest worry was the inking. And the colors on top of that. So there are the glasses in color. And here comes the fun part, where we actually have to reference Amanda. So we're going to stay on this layer for that. Let's It's a sort of dull green with gray there. So we will use that. But we're going to make it a little more saturated than that, I think. Just so that it suits the character more. Yeah, that's a bit better. Bigger brush, please. And again, we're going to do this in a great big block. I almost didn't, but I decided, what the heck. Let's do it in a big block. So if we do that, we can basically just lock it down and add the other colors from there. Normally, I do like to keep the colors on separate layers overall. It makes it easier when it's time to add the values in. But for this one, it's a relatively simple thing. So it's not too big of a deal if I just do it all on a few. Not one, it's more like a few, but to each their own on layering, really. Because, I mean, I know people who do everything on one layer. And it's like, how do you live? It's like, oh, gee, that's impossible. How did you manage that one? And of course I get asked back, well, how do you use so many layers? Layer 61. But yeah, it really is a huge to each their own. So. Okay, that's all locked in, so now lock. Now double check. So we have a lot of gray around. And it looks like it's actually about the same color as her undershirt, which is going to be a bit tricky. But alright. Yeah, alrighty then. That's more in the blues. A little less saturated there. And a little darker too. Honestly, there we go. Oh, that's why. It's because of the sketch layer. That explains it. And I'll leave it at that color anyway. So. Ooh, okay, so we got this. And there is, that goes around the zippers as well, so. Just do that. Oh, yeah, it goes right down to that zipper there. So we'll just, oh, alright, saw that. Add the zipper in. Whew. I tell you though, as soon as I get the chance, I'm going to be looking into that recovery error, because that's, as I said before, crashes have happened, but recovery has generally been pretty good. Normally it recovers about somewhere within the last 5-10 minutes of work, depending on where it had been sitting. I'm gonna color boots in this color because yeah. It generally does about that much, but, well, of course, this time, you got this mess. And it can't be that it's too big to recover, because I've had larger files that were recovered without trouble. Much larger, in fact, so it's a bit of a mystery. Okay, looks like it's the same green on all of those tabs, actually. More of a white on the zipper, and I could use that same white for the undersides here. So we'll go not quite as creamy as the cream, just so that things don't stand out too much. And the sleeve. And the world, I guess. Which for now is just going to be this blue circle. That kind of detail is something I would add in a little later. Buttons, I believe, are brass, so... That's that. And of course, rope is white. And a sort of dull brown there. Okay. Ooh, and OBS has already dropped a number of frames, it turns out. 10% of the frames. That's no good. That's no good at all. Or 0.10. Okay, 0.10 is a little better than 10. But still no good. So this is definitely something I'm going to have to look into once I have signed off for the evening. Because it was not doing that before. It was not doing that even when I was testing. So something seems to have mysteriously occurred between then and now. And I do not like that, obviously. So it's the same sort of black around here. But the green is more of a weird, bone-ish, earthy color. Part of me is like, it's realistic. The other part is me like, give some color to us, please. And then the other, more canny part is like, this is a horror game. So, that is the colors there, so we're gonna bring in a shadow now, underneath everything. Right down here. We're gonna have to hide the sketch for this, though. And lock it to make this darker than the boot. Alright. And those are our colors in there. So we have 20 minutes left. Rather than go into the inking, we're going to go and finish that eye now. So, for that, we gotta hide the sketch on it. That's the ink. There we go. We're gonna zoom right in. This layer is where the whites are, but rather than work on them yet, we're gonna hide them so that we can fix this. We need to make sure that none of the colors are bleeding into this. Oh, lovely. I changed the paintbrush size, not the brush, eraser size. There we go. And we're going to do the same for the red. With that done, we can bring this back. We're going to make a clipping layer here. And as I mentioned way back when we started this, we're going to be painting this, we're going to be coloring this cell style. So block shadows here. Just part of this is also trying to find the right balance of the shadow. Been drawing and painting so long in a particular style that I've hit my own stuff and gone, wait. Yeah, I think I want more shadow on this side. But more of a curve here. There we go. That's a little better. A little more under here, there. Yep. Now above that, still clipped. This is where we bring in our whites. Not quite the right angle there. And we're going to quickly zoom out to see how that looks so far. So it already doesn't look too bad. To add a little more to it though, we're going to actually put a gradient in here, so a little brighter, not quite white, but a little brighter. And select this area. Don't have to be too careful since of course it's clipped. That. And there we go. Okay, now we erase that. Yeah, there we go. So now we work on a little bit there. It's a little bit of shadow, just a tiny bit. It doesn't look like it would make much of a difference, but it really does, actually. So, and we're going to show that in a folder and title that Sclera, which is basically the word for the eye white. Now I'm looking at the ink now and noticing that I didn't quite, because of course this is from last month, not this month, so the lines were never fixed. So let's make you a little smaller first. Just fixing the ink. Make it a little less choppy. That's better. So now I go back down to where the iris is. And once again, it's a clipping layer. Eyes are a bit different from everything else. Like, the sclera is, has the values the way that I would be doing pretty much everything else. Eyes are a little more unique. Now first, you gotta get the ring around. Obviously, it's not a perfect ring. If it's perfect, it doesn't quite look right, so. But then, you have this. And basically, you know how the eye looks up close with the almost spider webbing, you could call it. It's not really spider webbing at all. Obviously, that's just what the iris looks like up close. It's it's everything that builds the iris and allows it to contract or dilate. Sorry, it's the proper term. And that is what we are doing here. The eye overall is a lot more painterly when I do them for this. Oh, too big, way too big. Let's make that a lot smaller. We're gonna stand out a little more. And make the eye basically is a lot less cell and a lot more paint. So that is there. Fun part. Oops. Oh, there we go. Thought something was off. Oh. That layer was not clipped. Okay. That's that. And one more layer. We're going to go back to the white. Now, the next layer can't actually go down here. It has to go over the inks, because it does this. And that's our eye. It doesn't look too bad from a distance, does it? All that said and done, though, we have 10 minutes left, and that means we have to go back to inking. So, we're going to label this layer so we don't lose it. And it'll be a highlight. And this, of course, goes in another folder. So we turn the sketch back on. And it's time to get back to inking. So it is, I think, it does feel a lot better to do now that I have color on the image. That's a little not, that's not quite right. So it feels, like I said earlier, it feels a lot less like I've failed everything. And actually, while we're at it, let's save so that I don't have to eat my words later. Be like, I lost everything again. No. I think that might be part of the reason why I forgot to save this time. I'm actually talking. Talking is great for some things. It keeps me on track with the drawing part. Not so much everything else, though. So we'll add our small lines here. And get the other eye in. And apologies for the silence, everyone. Because I have a feeling that the chat is largely quiet again, because right as people were starting to show up, of course, we had the computer crash. No one wants to stick around when that goes on. Partially because nothing's going on, and you never know why. So there we go. And of course, our brow lines. And that's the eye there. And lip is done. Put the chin there. Fun story about the nose here. It took me ages before I decided if the mascot even had one. And that's largely because of where the mascot came from. Originally, the mascot was essentially me as the incubator from the Madoka series. But as I started taking the stream more seriously, obviously I realized, oh, it might not be a good idea to have that sort of thing for my mascot, since copyrights and all that. That said, it was already so strongly associated with me, the incubator thing, that basically there are a lot of traits that stuck from there, like these weird fur fluff things used to be those weird ear things that the incubator had. The same goes for the red eyes. But everything else just sort of developed on its own. The thing is, though, the incubator didn't have a nose! It never had a nose. I think it was meant to be some sort of weird cat thing. No one really knew. Much like all magical girl animals. Or a lot, at least. But so that went on, and eventually I decided, you know what? I'm putting more detail in these. I need a nose. Just to hold my wee glasses. Something else to hold them. They don't have any arms to hold them on the ears. They're just sort of sitting there on the nose. I'm surprised the mascot hasn't lost them yet. It's a miracle, really. It's truly a miracle. You know, now that there's color, it's strangely easier to see what I'm doing with the ink as well, so I'm wondering if I should be doing things like this more often, actually. Colors first, I mean. Because it definitely does give, a new view on this that I didn't have before. And that's definitely helping, so. Oh. We're almost out of stream time! I wonder if we can actually get the glasses inked by then. Probably not. But I got one done at least. And I might actually pause in the inking efforts to instead make a glass lens. Or maybe not. We only have 3 minutes left, so that's gonna... I'm not gonna have time for that. But it was worth a thought. I think. I think it was, at least. But yeah, man, apologies again, because of course, if things hadn't crashed, if I had just been smart and saved everything, this pretty much would be done. We'd just have to ink and then ink the hair and ears type thing, and that would have been done, and that probably would have taken about as much time as it just took me to do this one part of the glasses. So, no sense crying over spilt milk, though. In my case, honestly. Because, well, if I did that, then I wouldn't really get anywhere, would I? There'd just be a lot of unfinished drawings everywhere. So, we can at least say we have a gorgeous looking eye, though. We can say that. I think it's gorgeous, at least. I probably won't in like a week. But that's how it goes. That's how it goes. That's how you get better. You just find things that you want to make better and go at it. So we're going to zoom out again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these all on multiply. And that's basically where we're at now. Now, as I said before, I'm going to be trying to get the inking done with what time I have between now and the next stream, so that you can see her standing there for that next stream. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed what there was. I will be trying to get some music for next month's Usagisquared Draws, of course. So, yeah, I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving if you're in the States, and otherwise just a great weekend, a great week overall, and, of course, a great month. So until then, good evening to you.